Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great no matter where in the world you are. I wish you nothing but happiness and greatness and love and laughter and good health. Okay, I hope you guys are all keeping safe. We are here today to do a Q&A. Where I have a lot of questions in my daughter's little diary. I'm borrowing it. She actually asked me to use it today, so I think she kind of wanted to show it off. So guys, you know, that's for her. So let's get into these questions. The first one is from a sister on Instagram. God bless you, Habibti, and I believe it's 3 questions. The first one is, with everything you've been through in your life, how do you see light at the end of the tunnel? That is a great question because for a very, very long time, I did not see light at the end of the tunnel. I did not think that one existed. I genuinely believed that I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I believed that wherever I put my foot down, the earth beneath my feet would just crumble. And I also felt like when a door would close, many people say another one opens, but now a lot of doors have opened for me, alhamdulillah, in the past 3 years. But before that, I felt like everything was closed and I didn't understand, and I blamed myself quite a lot. But then I started to realize that actually I am a really good person. No matter what Hebel says or this person says or thinks, I know deep down in my heart, because I've tried to, you know, not care, and it doesn't work for me. Like, I have kindness built in me. Is not something that can easily be taken away or can be changed, especially in my me anyway. So I kind of saw light at the end of the tunnel once I got pregnant, although I did not like pregnancy whatsoever, and we'll talk about that another day. But once I had her, I knew there was, oh my God, that I live for her now, was the way that I saw it. And then eventually I realized that my mindset from negativity to positivity really helped me to see that light at the end of the tunnel and think, actually, yeah, I am strong enough to get through this. And look at what I've already achieved. So I started saying alhamdulillah more often, because wallahi, I know how important it is. Be thankful for everything. Bad, good, be thankful. Because certain experiences teach you something. You know, some they don't. But I felt like I learned something. And that was, no matter what trauma I went through, and believe me, it's a lot, it never stopped me from really living my life. I struggled, but it didn't stop me. So positivity. When I started thinking positively, then I started to see light at the end of the tunnel, and I stopped blaming myself for everything. So thank you for that. The next question is, how are you doing now? I am really good. Well, I am really good, considering I've been homeless, considering I hardly have any family, considering that I live in a place where there's not a lot of black people, and I've experienced racism like I've never done in my life. So, but I am doing amazing mentally. Mentally, I'm doing great. Physically, I'm doing good. I'm healthy. My daughter's healthy. So, wallahi, what more can I ask for? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. The third question the sister asked is, at this current age, what would you advise how would you advise dealing with close toxic family members? Wallahi, the only way to stop other people, to stop any kind of toxicity within any, whether it's a friendship group or a family group, is to completely remove yourself from that. Wallahi, that is the harshest. I know it sounds really harsh, like remove yourself from your family, but at the end of the day, they're human beings. Your family are human beings, just like you are. They make mistakes. Dimbiye, Galan, they're humans. They're walid, they're brothers, they're sisters, they're uncles, they're aunties, but they're also humans. Like, let's not forget that. And toxic is toxic. Wallahi, issue is issue. If it can't be resolved, migrate, leave, katak, move somewhere where you can live as a human being, freely, happily, with content, with you're able to follow your passion, you're able to follow your dreams. But in a lot of cases where people have toxic families and they remain in that situation for so long, they find it so hard to get out, wallahi. But with me, I could say I try to look at the good in everything, and it doesn't always work for me. It doesn't always work in my favor, actually, because it just ends up putting me down when I realize shit is not as I thought it was. But for me, it's more love, wallahi. I think I was so in love, and still am very in love with my siblings and my aunties and my uncles. And even though they don't want nothing to do with me, and I know that, I still love them. Wajalahi, wallahi, that is no word of a lie. Wajalahi, not the ones that hurt me back in Somalia, but my immediate family, like my siblings and my Habriya and my Abti and my uncle, I have a lot of love for them. But then I realized I can love them from afar. And that's exactly what I did. And alhamdulillah, my mental health is better for it. Another question from a sister. So this sister asked, what your younger self, what advice would you have given yourself, when you were young? And the only advice that I would have given myself was, do not go to Somalia. Then don't do it. Don't go to Somalia. Adin, Shamsa, younger Shamsa, don't go to Somalia. Okay? If time machine existed, boy, well, I would have went back in time and reset a lot of shit. But it's not reality. So, but my advice I would give to my younger self is, don't go to Somalia. Stay in the UK or go to Sweden, which was the plan to begin with. Stay in the UK. That would be the one advice. Well, I think, because if I hadn't done that, if Somalia hadn't come out of my mouth, I would have been all right. Another question: with everything you've been through, how have you picked yourself up and put that in the past? I think Ilahi picked me up. I didn't necessarily do it by myself. Wallahi, I have to give a quick shout out to my girl, Nejma World. If you guys get a chance, please go and visit her YouTube channel. I will leave her details and YouTube channel, everything in the description. And this girl, I've known since high school. She was one of the people that was raising money to help me escape when I was in Somalia. And she was one of my best, and she still is one of my closest friends and always will be. because when I had no family, wallahi, she was the only one that was like, yo, like, look around you, Shamsa. Like, you did this. No one did this for you. No one puts food in your fridge. No one so you work for yourself. You take your daughter to nursery. Like, she was constantly the one to reassure me, and so that I genuinely, like, if she wasn't there and I was alone, wallahi, I genuinely don't know what I would have done, because I did not have any support system whatsoever, okay? And she was my only support system. And I am so glad, and I've even said to her earlier today, wallahi, you saved me in a way, because if I hadn't had you and you had backed off just like everyone else has, and like if you had abandoned me just like everyone else has, I told her, like, I don't know where I would be right now mentally. It's really good to have a support system. Wallahi, I cannot stress that enough with anyone, whether trauma or not. Everyone needs a support system and deserves a support system too. So I picked myself up. She helped me a lot. Wallahi, class. Yeah. Another question from the same sister. She said, finally, do you have any contacts with all the people that have wronged you? I don't. And I don't want any contact with them. I forgave them, and it was so difficult for me to forgive them, but I did, and I just never looked back. There's nothing for us to talk about. There's nothing, literally, there's no way, like, no. And if you're watching now, please, I saw it in. Thank you, which means if you're watching now, please don't contact me in any way, shape, or form. I wish you the best in life, because I'm not a hater. But me and you will never speak on this earth. Okay? And that is for everyone that was present and did nothing. So أنا واحد لهاد dadka oo joogay oo hadli waayay hadaa tahay habaraa, hadaa tahay walaal, hadaa tahay shaqadeeda maaha, hadal ma naga dhexeeyo, because aniga waa ku hadli lahaa. I would have spoken up for you if it was the other way around. Or agree. So she said, in a scenario where there's a lot of Somali mothers recently taking their sons back home if they get involved in crime in the UK. So they fly them back home to avoid jail time or getting into more trouble. Once they reach Somalia, the moms get their sons to marry a maskeen woman, meaning an innocent and oblivious woman, to get his mind, to get his mind of things, yeah? She said, bear in mind that this guy probably has nothing going on for him back home or in Somalia. And once things die down back in the UK, he will most likely pack his bags and come back to the UK like nothing happened, leaving that poor girl at home with no remorse. So she said, if anything, you know and heard of similar stories, but do you agree or disagree? Well, I agree with you. It happens all the time. All the time. I've seen it. I have witnessed it. And I'm like speechless. And there's not really much you can do about it. But there should be. They should be, because it's khalat, it's so wrong. Dakan elis, which means taking someone back from America, like any of these westernized countries, and take the children back to Somalia as to like reculture them, but then they end up just traumatizing them, and then bringing traumatized children back. Like, you ran away from a war zone. Why would you send your child back? Yeah, and then leave them on top of that. But then when they tell you about the things that they have experienced, you're like, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, we don't have these institutions in Somalia where, you know, or we don't have these things where, you know, we take them to Somalia to avoid jail time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you should stop doing it. If anybody commits a crime, they should face the consequences. So you're basically teaching your sons or your daughters that, one, they can run away from crime, and two, it's okay to take someone, whether it's these kids are taken and manipulated. They're not asked nicely. Nothing is really explained. And my situation is really different, by the way, because I chose to go to Somalia. But some don't have that choice. They're forced to go to Somalia. And then when they get there, they either subjected to FGM or forced marriage or arranged marriage or imprisonment in like some sort of institution. But we need to understand that these things do exist. They happen. And I don't like it, not one bit. It shouldn't be happening. Yes, it does happen, but it shouldn't be happening. Well, and thank you for your question, baby girl. Another question. Have you got any life lessons you've taken from your life that you would like to pass on to your daughter? Thank you so much for your beautiful questions. I have really enjoyed reading them and answering them. And I hope I have answered all your questions and gave you the answers, you know, I gave the answers that I could, and I was 100% honest. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification. And please leave a comment as well, because I love interacting with all of you. Wallahi, and because I'm so busy, I don't always get to, but I will reply as soon as I see your messages. I love you. Keep spreading awareness no matter where you are. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.